What's up, all my mini maniacs? Data here, and it is time for episode 2 of the Minnesota Wild franchise mode. We just began the last episode by kicking off the preseason, fixing up the scouting, the coaching, the lines, and posing the questions to all of you regarding our lineup, our chemistry, our special teams, and what kind of moves this team needs. As you will see, we are headlined by the skill of Kaprizov, Fiala, Parise, but 83 overall, 82 overall. This team could definitely use some help, definitely down the middle as well. Our biggest strength is on defense, where all of our top 4 defensemen are between 83 and 87. So we got to find something to help balance that out, not just be heavy defensive. We also got to score goals if you want to win the game. So in the last episode, there were about, I think, 40 comments on YouTube, and I replied to all of them. So I think all of them, so that brought the comment total up to over 80. I posed the question on the Discord, on a subreddit, and there was a lot of comments. So I'm not going to be able to spend 10-15 minutes at the beginning of this episode going through each comment and weighing the possibility of each one. I've already responded to a lot of them, and as you'll be seeing at the bottom, there's a lot of them scrolling over here. But I just really want to address a couple. Now, Brian here, he's a Wild fan, and he says that a lot of the players on the Wild have these one-year deals and everything, so that they're set up for the Seattle expansion draft. He says leave the defense alone for now and look to clear up cap with Victor Rask, Matt Zuccarello, or Zach Parise at the deadline or next draft. Very excited to finally see success come to my favorite team at the hands of the Commander, no less. Brian, I will try my best with the help of all of you to get Minnesota, the state of hockey, some success. So on the contract front, sorting by contracts, yeah, there's a lot of money on this team. Guys like Johansson, Bonino, I'm not worried about them. If we want to extend them, we can get them for cheaper. If we want to trade them, we can do that at the deadline. I'm not really concerned about that too much at the moment. Victor Rask, I really want to give Victor Rask life and success, but 79 overall, $4 million, I don't know. I have some ideas in mind. My current idea is to keep him, but if it doesn't work out, then we may be forced to move him. But I do definitely have some ideas in this episode. Patterson making 2.2, what? Yeah, so we're definitely have to move guys like Patterson. Either way, as you can see at the bottom, we're already at 50 out of 50 contract spots. So no matter what we do, some players are going to have to go. So I want to open up this episode just by trading away some contracts to open up the possibilities. There's some free agency moves I'm thinking about. There's some trade moves that I'm thinking about, but none of that can happen until the gates are open. So I'm going to go to find trade, actually, see if anybody actually wants a Greg Patterson. I highly doubt it. I like Greg Patterson, very good defenseman, but 77 overall at $2.25 million. I totally forgot that he was making money like that. I would be very surprised. No, nobody wants him. So I'm going to try and put something together that includes Patterson. Let me just look at all contracts on the team. Something that includes Patterson, Cramarosa, Dermis. I don't know. We're going to move a bunch of these minor league contracts. Mayhew. We're going to move a lot of those contracts just to clear up the roster and the cap space. To make it realistic, I'll probably throw in a fourth round pick and take back a 7th round pick. Something like that. I'll see what I can do. Alright, that's all done. I got 2 7th and a 6 from the Florida Panthers for a bunch of nobodies. Well, not necessarily nobodies, but just guys who I didn't think were really going to be impact players for us. I'll show you who I traded in a moment. Just let me fix the roster. Sorry that I didn't show you before I hit propose on the trade, but I didn't think it would go through, to be honest. So I traded Mayhew here, Gerald Mayhew, 72 overall, Cramarosa, 70 overall, AHL top 6, 27 years old. Patterson, I love Patterson, Canadiens fan, I think he's great. He was good when he was on Montreal, etc. But for a guy who's going to come up for injuries, costing us $2.2 million, only at 77 overall, I'd rather sign someone better in free agency. Johansson here, decent prospect with medium top 6D potential, but to be 56 overall at 21 years old, he had a little bit more than absolutely no trade value, so I'd rather dump that guy ASAP before he actually has no value, because the odds of him growing are very low. Same for Gordeev here, big boy, 6'6", not bad at all, medium 7th D at 69 overall, but just another contract spot that I could move to make the team a little bit better. So we picked up a few draft picks, nothing bad at all. They said I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth, so I don't think I swindled Florida too badly there. I think that was a pretty fair deal for everybody. So now at this point is where we can really start thinking about what moves we're going to make. We have 5 contract spots and $5.675 million in cap space. Now before making any more of those trades or anything, there was a comment here from Michael Belford. He said, if you call up those prospects, namely Marco Rossi, who should be playing in the juniors, then send them back down, they should be reassigned to their junior team. So we're going to try that. It was weird because Marco Rossi and Hunter Jones were both on Iowa when they should be playing for their junior teams. Even Kalen Addison should be playing in the WHL. So I'm going to try calling them up and then sending them back down and see if that sends them to their junior teams. I'd rather have them play in the juniors than get, barely any ice time and playing over their heads in the minors. So send them back down. I think it just sent them down. No, so that's probably some sort of glitch. They should be sent to the juniors. Marco Rossi definitely should not be playing in the AHL when his OHL rights are still with the Ottawa 67s and he's 18 years old on an entry-level contract. Does not make sense, but I guess we'll have to roll with it. Now moving into our ideas here, Pat I says, see if you can get rid of that insane Parise contract. If you can't, maybe see if you can get him a ton of points on the first power play, then get him out of there. Looking forward to the state of hockey franchise mode. So here's the thing about Zach Parise. Crazy contract. I can't believe, it's really crazy to me, that he has 5 more years left on this deal. I remember when this deal was signed, 13-year contract. He still has 5 more years to go, but he has more days behind him than he does ahead of him in Minnesota. I feel like he just got there. When I think of Parise, I think of him on the Devils. But anyways, it's similar to what we did with Jeff Skinner over on our Buffalo franchise mode. Terrible contract. Everyone said to move him. But the thing is, in real life, I don't think he'd move. He has a no movement clause as well. And we're going to try to just maximize him and get him to be a monster. If we're going to win here in Minnesota, I'd love to do it with Parise and Suter here. Suter, not as many calls to trade Suter. He simulates quite well at 87 overall, but Parise does hurt a little bit. But if we can maximize him on the first line, that will really help. There was a comment on Reddit that spoke about moving Parise up to the first line with Fiala, I believe, and Kaprizov down to the second line. So we'll do our best to maximize him. Pontus Johansson commenting here, I don't think the Johanssons are related. That's funny. I made a joke about how we had 3 Johanssons on the team and how they all might be related. And then someone with the last name Johansson comes in comments. But he says that the team is one good center away from being a playoff team. Maybe try trading Dumba for a first-line center and then fill that defensive vacancy with Sami Vatanen in free agency. So that's an interesting point. We are pretty stacked on defense, and in the real world, Matt Dumba has been the subject of many trade talks. So if we were to trade anybody for a top center or just a top line forward or something, it would probably be Matt Dumba. $6 million, making $6 million, but he's 26 years old. He's the youngest guy. The thing is, what's out of my hand is that Brodin and Spurgeon are already locked up. If it was my decision, I'd lock up Dumba, as he already is, but I'd rather keep Dumba and trade away a guy like Brodin or Spurgeon. I know they're both super underrated, but we're talking NHL 21 here, where they're 84 and 83 overall, not the real world where they are, arguably Spurgeon is a top pair defenseman in the NHL. So that's definitely an option, along with just making trades in general for people who fit our special teams. Because as we saw last episode, we have not a single player on this team who fits the penalty kill. We have a few players who have dashes, but no one fits the penalty kill. And we're getting -1, -3s out here. That's a huge, huge hit. So Isaiah comments here saying, I would trade one of the bad contracts on the team for at least players that will fit on the forward, defense lines, power play, penalty kills. And that's a very fair point. That's something that we need to target because even if we're playing great, and even if the power play is playing well, if the penalty kill is abysmal, then we're not going to go very far. Speaking of the penalty kill, that may have to do with the new it does have to do with the new head coach that we hired. The thing is, I like him very much, Maximilian Lautner. He has the 74% team fit, which is fantastic, but for some reason he doesn't help our penalty kill. So Jay Birdie commenting here saying, if your team is losing horribly, then you should fire the head coach, and the best thing to do would be hiring the best fit coach who is above a B rating. So if we look in all of the coaches available, NHL associate coaches, there's only like 5 of them who are B- rated, and it would be between all these guys. It would be this guy who's 64 probably, Caleb Zanin. But, our former head coach who is an A-, Popovich, was even better than that. So if we were to fire the coach, we'd probably bring Popovich back into the head coach role, but we're not going to do that just yet. We're going to wait and see how the team begins to simulate once we make our moves. And the last comment that I'll cover comes from the Discord server. Link in the description if you want to join the Discord server where we can talk about the series in more depth. Coming from Vix, he thinks that PK Subban on the block would be a fantastic idea. He also likes Jack Roslovic, who's also on the block, but he's saying trade Ryan Suter for PK Subban. Now, that is a very controversial move, to say the least, and he defends his choice rather well, laying out their age, their points, their contracts, etc. I think the biggest problem I have with that suggestion is that the Devils would probably never do it. Subban, he's off the, what? He's playing in the minors. That's probably just for the preseason, though. But I believe he was on the block last episode. And for Ryan Suter, 1-for-1, this wouldn't be the craziest deal. 5 more years at 7.5 versus 2 years at 9 million. I mean, not the craziest deal in terms of trade value. Now, I don't know if I really want to pull the trigger on this. This would be a huge blockbuster move. He's a two-way D, which doesn't help the chemistry too much. Ryan Suter has the better defensive rating, and his offensive rating isn't much different. Actually, he has higher offensive awareness, better puck skills. So in real life, maybe that's interesting if they wanted to do it, but even if the Devils offered me this deal, I don't know if I would do this because Ryan Suter is a monster out there. And like I said, I'd like to try and win with him. So Vix, I love the comment. I love the idea. If more people like that idea, send it in the comments. We're only going to be going up to the trade deadline in this one, so it's not too late. But I'm not going to make that deal right now because that would be a huge splash that I'm not comfortable with just yet before the season has even begun. So there are a lot more comments that were made, and I thank you for all of them. They were all taken into consideration and synthesized down to what I'm thinking about over here. I have pinned a bunch of players that I'm thinking about. When it comes to a first-line center, we need someone who doesn't have too much trade value, but is a solid first-liner who fits our lines. The only player that applies to seems to be Ryan Johansson when it comes to putting together line fit, as he fits our first line, and ability and trade value, because anyone else who fits our lines is, near a full bar of value, and that's not going to happen for Matt Dumba. So Ryan Johansson, he's a playmaker, 85 faceoffs, 85 defensive awareness, all that. He is a playmaker who fits our lines. 5 more years at $8 million, though. That's the scary part. Do we want to take Ryan Johansson's contract on? I would not be too opposed to that. It would cost more than Dumba, but at least we get a first-line center who fits our lines. So I'm going to revisit that. I got to think about that a bit more. In the meanwhile, these are a bunch of guys, two-way guys, who all have good defensive awareness, shot blocking, and stick checking. I pinned them all, and I'm currently scouting them further. Unfortunately, a bunch of them are in the AHL, so I can't scout them. But as soon as they come to the NHL, I'll scout them. Scott Lawton is very interesting to me. He has great two-way stats. It's just I need to see if they fit the penalty kill. If they do, then I definitely want to go after them. Some of them are free agents, as we'll see with Carl Soderberg. Only 78 faceoffs, but 85 shot blocking, 87 stick checking. Maybe he could be a fixture on the penalty kill, as well as these guys down here, Michael Frolik, Frédéric Gauthier, and Derek Brassard. Michael Frolik especially, though. 84 shot blocking, 89 stick checking. I think I definitely want to go after him. But regardless, we got to jump into free agency. Trades and scouting we can think about, we can take our time, but free agency we cannot because other teams are sending out their offers. Now, I am thinking that, let me go back to the lines actually. I'm thinking that for our wings, I'm thinking that we move Matt Zuccarello. Zuccarello, 83 overall. There was a comment on Reddit talking about moving him that I think made a lot of sense. He has 4 more years at $6 million at 83 overall. I think if there's a time to move him, it's now. And he's good, but he's kind of like the odd man out. Coming off a 37-point season in 65 games last year. Speedy guy with a great shot. But if I could get Zuccarello out, I move Parise up. Let's say I put Fiala up there too, and I get someone who fits on the first line as a playmaker with sniper, playmaker, 2 playmakers and a sniper. That would be a very nice first line. And, Eriksson Ek can move down, Bukes can move down somewhere else, Rask can move to the wing, we get a better fourth-line center, we get Frolik for the right wing, and Hartman gets traded, or Foligno gets traded. We can move these bottom 6 guys who are costing us money. So that leaves us the possibility of a second-line winger. If we were to go out and get someone like Mike Hoffman, for example, that would really help out our scoring effort on a team that doesn't have much scoring. So in the real world, I think this is a pretty interesting move that could be real. So in the real world, I think there's a pretty realistic move here. We have the cap space. We have the team that would allow Mike Hoffman to thrive. We're giving him a great opportunity here in this flat cap world where he doesn't want as much money. He's looking for 3.150 for 1 year. There's 2 other teams interested. I think I'm going to go ahead and offer him a deal. He can play on the right wing. He's one of the best snipers in the NHL, I find. He has 4-star shooting, and I don't think there's much else to say, guys. Mike Hoffman would be great. Kings and Senators are also interested in him. In the real world, he wouldn't want a big deal, I don't think. So I think going 1 year at like $4 million is perfectly realistic for Mike Hoffman. It's probably even more than he would want. You know, let's go for one year, 3.850. Yeah, I think that's good to go for Mike Hoffman. If we could get him on this team playing right wing, that would be fantastic. For the other players here in free agency, I'm not sold on any of them yet, except for Michael Frolik. I definitely really want to get Michael Frolik. He has good defensive stats. Even if he doesn't fit the penalty kill, we'll still put him there anyways because his stats are good. No one else is interested in him, so I'm going to go 1 year, $1.5 million for Frolik. And I'm interested in Soderberg, like we said. 2 other teams interested. He would play, I think our center depth is fine. I'd have to play him on the wing, and I don't think he fits the wing really because he's not listed as that. Would that hurt the chemistry? Maybe. So I'm going to pass on Soderberg for the moment, but if we do get Frolik for 1.5 and Hoffman at 3.85, that's 5.35 million, and that keeps us, we're still under the cap. So I'm not going to make any moves yet. I'm going to wait and see if those contracts get signed. That would be really huge if they were. So we're going to start simulating a few days here in the preseason, and we're slowly building up the team. This is going to be, I don't know how long this episode is going to be, but oh yes, Mike Hoffman's on board, thank goodness. And Michael Frolik, we're waiting for him. Ilya Sorokin, ooh, that would be nice. My goodness, they want to offer me Ilya Sorokin? That really doesn't make sense. They would rather trade Varlamov than Sorokin. I'm not going to do that. 3-0 win as well. Nice against the Hawks. I don't know how long this episode's going to be, but we're going to go up to the trade deadline. And Michael Frolik, thank goodness. We got them both. Okay, so now I'm going to edit out the lines and see how this team looks with those 2 added. Okay, so here's a quick idea of the lines at the moment. Mike Hoffman on that first line on the 1-year deal, on a prove-it-to-me kind of deal. I don't know if he'll stay on this team long-term, but I like him here for this season. He fits the first line. Great, welcome. On the 4th line will be Michael Frolik. He doesn't fit the lines great, but he does fit the 4th line best. So we're going to put him down on the 4th line, and thank the heavens, he does fit the penalty kill, and both units are now at a 0, as opposed to the -1, -3 that we had earlier. So I will definitely take that with a nice smile on my face. Hoffman doesn't fit the power play. I don't know why no one either fits the power play either, but whatever, we'll roll with it. So this is how we're looking. That's with Zuccarello out of the lineup. What we still need is the first line center. So if we were to move Dumba and Zuccarello for our first line center, we can move Rask over here. Benino could probably move down here. I like Benino a lot, but if we could move, I don't know, someone move down there. Bukestad, Eriksson, I don't know. Just someone to be on the first line other than an 81 overall. If Dumba were to move, then Spurgeon could come up. Or actually, we get an offensive defenseman to pair with the defensive defenseman. Well, that could be a +5 if Sami Vatanen fits, if he's a free agent that we want to go after. So let's dive back into free agency here and see if there's a defenseman who we could go after. Preferably Sami Vatanen if he's still around. He is still around. Only wants 1 year, $2.4 million. Go back just to the UFAs. Oh yeah, okay, you can sort just by defense. Thank goodness. Okay, so it seems like Sami Vatanen's the perfect fit. He's the only offensive defenseman out here. I don't think there's really much to say, guys. 29 years old, has the 88 offensive awareness, great puck skills, coming off a 23-point season in 47 games on a tough New Jersey team. I don't want to get a two-way guy. I don't think another two-way guy that I'd really look at is probably Travis Hamonic. I like Travis Hamonic, but I think Vatanen is the man to go after. So if we were to get Sami Vatanen, we have to clear up another $1 million of cap space. Not an issue. So let's go see what we can try and get if we were to trade Matt Dumba and Matt Zuccarello. I know it hurts to trade Matt Dumba, but we do need to get some forward help, and unfortunately, we're just in a really tough spot. So Matt Dumba, he has a ton of trade value. That will help us to get rid of the Matt Zuccarello contract, because if we can, he's up here. If we can pair those together, it would free up a lot of money as well. So I'm searching for a first line forward. We'll say faceoffs at least 78 just to make it a centerman. because if not, then it brings you all the wingers as well, because you can't sort by position. You only sort by line type, line role or whatever. So look at this. It goes down pretty quickly. After Bergeron, Tavares, Kopitar, etc., it goes down, jumps down to Monahan, then jumps down to Johansson. Maybe Sean Monahan is someone we could get, actually. He doesn't fit Maximilian's lines yet. We don't know. He fits Popovich's line scheme, so we don't know about Maximilian Lautner's line scheme. But he's a really great forward, two-way guy. Maybe he could fit on the penalty kill too. Oof, I would love Sean Monahan. I wasn't thinking about him because I didn't think about his line fit, but maybe I'm saying forget line fit. Let's just do it. Trade for asset. Let's see if we could get Sean Monahan from the Calgary. 3 more years at $6.3 million. Okay, Matt Dumba and Matt Zuccarello. Oh, they want Zuccarello? Oh, this could be good. They go over the salary cap. We'd have to throw in a draft pick, but I think this could happen, guys. What about forward depth? Sam Bennett, maybe? Sam Bennett. Only 3-star defense, two-way forward. Because this would save me from going to sign a fourth liner. Josh Lievo, actually. Yeah, you know what? Josh Lievo, not bad. Fits the bottom 6 for our old head coach. But he's only making $0.8 million, so that doesn't really help with freeing up cap space for them. But, you know, I'll throw them in the deal anyways. Okay, let's say take out Lievo and just put Bennett. Now they're still over. Okay, but with Lievo, I think it could work. And how much salary cap would we have left at that point? 81.5 minus 78.975. That's at 2.5. That's really tight because Vatanen wanted 2.4. That's very tight, but it could work. So what do you think about this, Calgary? Matt Dumba and Matt Zuccarello for Sean Monahan, Sam Bennett, and Josh Lievo. Over on Calgary, who can take the spot at center? They have Elias Lindholm to play center. They have Michael Backlund to play center. Is this super realistic? I don't know, but they would be getting nice defense help. They could use help down the road in defense because once Giordano leaves, who's going to be their pillar out there? So let's try and do it. Let's see how close we are. Value isn't where it needs to be. Let's throw in a draft pick. Draft picks have a lot of value this year, so we'll try not to cheese it too much. But let's throw in our 3rd round pick and see where that gets us. Value isn't sufficient at all. Let's try the 2nd round pick. Now that's a lot of value with that 2nd round pick. So taking back a 3rd and a 5th wouldn't be the worst in the world. What do you see now, Calgary? Still doesn't meet the block particularly well. Okay, just a 5th. Rejected. Well, okay. All right. What if I throw in a 3rd round pick? Oh, boy. Okay, they would accept that. Matt Dumba, Matt Zuccarello, a 2nd and a 3rd for Sean Monahan, Sam Bennett, Josh Lievo, and a late pick. We need center help in Minnesota. If we played it super realistic, there's no team in the NHL that wants to trade a first-line centerman, but we're giving them back a top-end defenseman. Zuccarello is perfect for the wing, just I don't want to keep him. I want to put somebody else. And a 2nd and a 3rd round pick, where then picks have good value in this game. So I'm helping them out, taking Bennett off their hands as well. Oh, boy. Let's do it. Calgary Flames, thank you very much. Sean Monahan, the new face of the Minnesota Wild. Let's fix up these lines and see how he looks. All right, so Sean Monahan, 25 years old, two-way forward. He fits the 2nd line best, but he still fits that 1st line, and we're going to use him here anyways. Only gives the 1st line a +1, but you know what? I'm not going to complain too much. I'm happy with a +1 as long as we have an actual 1st line center there. We'll fix up the lines later on, but for the moment, that is where he is. We want to also try and offload Marcus Foligno, because I don't mind keeping Ryan Hartman for depth, but Foligno's costing us too much, and I don't like being too close to the cap with trying to get Vatanen in here. So let's try and get Foligno out of here. The Ducks actually want him, so why not? Actually, I'd rather prefer to just send him to the Eastern Conference so that he doesn't score a goal on us in double overtime of the Stanley Cup Final. Of the Western Conference Final, that is. All right, Columbus Blue Jackets, what do you say? Still, what? You've been overly optimistic on the value of what you're expecting us to take. Foligno and 2 7ths for a 7th. You know what? I have 3 6th round picks. We'll just throw in a 6th. Whatever. Thank you, Columbus. On behalf of the Blue Jackets, I accept your trade offer. We'll see you on the ice. All right, now back to free agency. The team, not quite an overhaul, but we're definitely making some moves here in Minnesota to try and get this team back to Stanley Cup contention. So Sami Vatanen, he wants $2.4 million. We have $5.4 in cap space, which is perfect. I'm going to go ahead and offer him. Could I get you for 2 years to Sammy? I wouldn't mind getting a little guarantee on defense. You know, we can afford it, and no one else is interested. So you know what? I'll give you 2 years, 3.150. 2 years, 3.150. Let's see what you say to that. Because it's good to retain some cap space for when we may want to be making deadline moves, especially in goaltending. Oh, okay. Sami Vatanen. Thank you. Leadership based on my skills. Whatever you say, Sammy. Thank you. Welcome to the team. Now let's fix up the lines for one last time and get into the actual simulation of year number 1. Alright, so here's what's up. I decided to go back to our old head coach, Popovich. I'm going to tell you why. We lose the +1 on the second line, but we gain a +3 on the first line. Also, we lose the +3 on the second unit defense, but however, look at the special teams. Power play used to be 0 and 0. With some tinkering, it is now +3 and +5. That is huge. I cannot state enough how important that would be for the special teams. So I'd rather change back to our old head coach. I put that Maximilian to our associate coach. Maybe he can become a head coach in the future. But I think Popovich should be the head coach just on the +3, +5 alone for the power play. On penalty kill, it's still 0 and 0, but much better than -1, -3. I'm gonna try these forwards and defensemen as the pairs that we try out, as the different forwards and defense units that we try out. We'll see how that goes over time. Extras, whatever. And for the shootout, we want to go by who has the best shooting. So Kaprizov can go first. Monahan, then Hoffman. Yeah, nothing crazy there. Vatanen. Okay. Between the pipes, as always, Cam Talbot backed up by Alex Stalock. I hope they do well. Sam Bennett and Victor Rask are the healthy scratches for forwards. I'm going to go ahead and sign a healthy scratch for the defense. Down in the AHL with people sent around up and down the lines. Actually, you know what? I won't even show you the lines for the AHL yet because I want to sign a couple of AHL forwards. I know this is taking really long, but that's just how it is when it comes to the first episode. So for defensive depth, I'm going to go ahead and sign Madison Bowie, I think. He is 78 overall with the medium top 4D potential. So maybe he'll be able to grow a little bit. If I had to choose someone out of all these just for skill, I'd probably say Del Zotto or even Slater Cuckoo. But the potential for Bowie to grow is quite nice, so I'll take him. And I'm not sure if I'll need anybody else on defense for the minors, but then over for forwards, I think we'll just take, yeah, these guys have some potential. McGinn, Kajula. Even Gauthier, I was thinking about getting Gauthier anyways for the NHL. Why not get him for the AHL? If he signs, why not? That's cool. And then I'll just throw in the other winger. We'll get Kajula here. These guys who are listed as fourth liners may start crying if you don't give them enough ice time, so I think that is perfect. Simulate a few days, fix the AHL lines, and then we're finally ready to begin this season. I don't know how long it's going to be in the video, but for me it's been quite a long time. We're going to end off the preseason with a record of 2-3-1. 6 points in 5 games for Josh Lievo between ourselves and the Calgary Flames. Kajula is on board and just waiting for Madison Big Boy, and he's also on board. Gauthier rejects. Oh, team's full. Okay, I'll make a quick trade. Gabriel Dumont over here, 74 overall. Good player, but I'd rather have Frédéric Gauthier on the team. So we'll go ahead and send him. You know what? We took Gauthier from the Maple Leafs. We'll send Dumont back their way. 7th round pick in 2022. Trade accepted. Great. Gauthier, there you go. And for anyone who's asking, I wanted to go sign Kyle Wood, but because he's signed in the real world over in Europe, they took him out of the game. So rest in peace, Kyle Wood. We'll have to wait until he comes back to North America to get him on an NHL franchise mode. And he will not sign before we begin the season, so I'll just have to best lines it in the minors. And I totally forgot that we signed Trevor Lewis. I can't believe I forgot about that. He was going to be our depth. So I'm going to go ahead and send down Victor Rask. He has to go through waivers. I doubt he gets claimed for that $4 million cap hit. Yeah, he was not claimed. So therefore, the healthy scratches in the NHL will be Lewis, Bennett, and Bowie. I feel bad. I want Trevor Lewis to be a fourth liner for us. But, yeah, it seems like we were able to fill those holes with Lievo and Frolik. AHL just best lines it for the moment. Like we said, we'll come back to that once Gauthier signs. But here we are in Colorado, game number 1 under the new data regime in Minnesota. The team's looking good. I think that the leadership core is still as it was last episode with the 3 A's between Parise, Suter, and Brodin. Perfect. That is the leadership core. A lot of players who have been here for a long time. Special teams looking great. We brought in some new faces. Now let's bring some success to the state of hockey. Game 1, Season 1, the 2020-21 season. Let's do it. First period, 1-0 Avalanche. Eric Johnson scores shorthanded on Cam Talbot from the red line. Yikes. Not the way you want to start. Second period, 2-0 Ryan Graves, another defenseman from far out at the blue line. 2 goals on 20 shots against Cam Talbot. 18 saves for whoever's in nets for the Avalanche. We're down 2-0 here in the third period. Let's see who is energized and who wants to get a goal to bring Minnesota back in this game. Let's go. Halfway through the third. Power play Colorado. Kill off power play Minnesota. That great special teams. But the Avalanche kill it off. 5 minutes to go now. Not the way we wanted to start the season. And the Avalanche will take it 2-0. 30 save shutout for Philip Grubauer. 1 goal for Johnson, but Cam Talbot still made 29 saves. But just those 2 that he missed gives us the L. You know what? Let's go and simulate the game against Vegas as well. Let's try and get a dub to start things off. Frédéric Gauthier, are you coming over? Thank goodness. I'm going to fix the lines in the AHL quickly now. So I think these will be the lines here in Iowa. Decent, I guess. Not optimal. I'm trying to maximize those who have potential, so that's why Rossi's on the second line. Mason Shaw's on the third line. Defense, Addison's on the first pair to give him the +5. Trying to do what I can. Between the pipes, Kakinen's a great goalie at 80 overall. He could be backing up in the NHL. Robson right there. He'll be called up whenever needed, Kakinen, by the way. There's a lot of guys who have potential here who are buried, unfortunately. This guy, medium top 9, high top 6D. There's just not enough room on the team. Hunter Jones, a medium starter, but no room for him either. Dewar, high top 9. So we're doing what we can here in Iowa. We have a lot of NHLers who usually wouldn't be here, but I'm not going to just go dump Rask, Hartman, and Kujula for a 7th round pick again. I've already done that. I don't think it makes sense to just keep dumping contracts for low-level picks. We did what we could, and we're just going to keep on simulating like that. So the scouts are sent out, the coaches are set, the lines are ready in the AHL and the NHL. Here at home, the home opener at XL Energy Center. Let's see what we can do against the Vegas Golden Knights after we dropped the first game of the season. Who will be our first goal scorer of the year? First period, and it is Sean Monahan, the newest Minnesota Wild member. The fans went wild just under 2.5 into his first game on Robin Lehner. And Zach Parise scores right in the crease for the second. Then Zach Parise again. Second of the night makes it 3-0. Okay, I was just looking at the angle from there. And it's a hat trick in the home opener for Zach Parise. All right, finding his groove. This is exactly what we... And it's another one for Zach Parise. That's 4 goals within the first half game. And then, okay, Michael Frolik. Now Fleury's in nets. Michael Frolik, another new Minnesota Wild member. Oh my goodness, that's 4 goals in less than 2 periods. 35 seconds away from being halfway through the game. So in 29.5 minutes Zach Parise has 4 goals. Only took him a period and 5. It only took him 25 minutes to get the hat trick. My goodness, he's excited for this season. 6-0 here in the third period. Let's go. Cam Talbot's playing well. He had a good game last game. Wasn't enough for the W. Tonight it will be. Anybody else want to throw in a couple? Monahan got his first. Frolik got his first. Any other new people? Sammy Vatanen maybe? Power play gets killed off, and that'll be the end. 6-0 victory, 19 save shutout for Cam Talbot, and it is a 4-goal, 1-assist game for Zach Parise. Sean Monahan, the dish master, with a goal and 3 assists. Now this is hopeful for the Minnesota Wild. This is exactly what we want to see from them. So now we're going to start simulating through the calendar. We'll go see some matchups like we usually do here in franchise mode, but it's already been a long episode as it is. So we want to try and get to the trade deadline ASAP. Let's go see the Chicago Blackhawks in the middle of next month. We'll play them in the next game, but then we want to see them the game after that. Nice divisional matchup. Big rivalry with the Blackhawks. We lose 2-1 in our first time facing them. Okay, don't care about that. Got to be careful with the injury glitch here. Got to be careful when replacing players. 3-1 win against the Hurricanes. 5-2 against the, let me go, head coach. So this is what you got to do. Edit lines manually. No. Yes. Head coach replace player, and then quit. And so stop the sim. Okay. So win there, OTL against the Coyotes there. You say head coach replace player. Then you go into edit lines, and then you replace who the person replacing him is. Because if it's an empty spot with the red word, where it says with the whatever it is empty, then you're gonna get glitched out. All right, so Matthew Boldy will recover from that injury. We'll keep on simulating. I'm sure he'll be back soon anyways. That's a big headache. I'm going to do that all off screen, obviously. Oh, boy, 6-1 and 4-3 losses. That is really tough to see. 3-1 win against the Kings, thank goodness. Avalanche, we lost 2-0, and then we lose 5-4. Oh, boy, 3-0 win, but then a 4-1 loss. See right here, yeah, 4-1 loss against the Oilers. We're 5-6-1. Could definitely be better. We're at 5-6-1. Let's go a little bit more. That's the first 12 games of the season. Let's get 15 games done. So 13, 14, 15. Let's go up to the game against the Ducks, actually. And a 15-game sample size will be enough to let us know what kind of line changes we should be making, if any. 4-3 overtime loss, but a 7-0 demolishing of the San Jose Sharks. Then a 2-1 shootout loss. So we're 6-6-3 through the first 15 games of the season. Zach Parise killing it with 21 points on that first line. Who else is up here? Mike Hoffman, 19-15. Sean Monahan, the first line is doing amazing. But then it really drops off after that. Greenway, 7. Eriksson, X, 6. Johansson, yeah, not a lot of scoring at all from these bottom lines. Kaprizov, only 5 points and a -5. That's weird. You'd think that Kaprizov would be doing better. Hunt has 4 points. That's cool. He is on the power play. That's true. I gave him the power play time to help to get the +5. Carter Soucy's a Carson Soucy's a +7. Bugstad's not doing well. Okay, interesting. I'll make some changes accordingly. And between the pipes, Cam Talbot 4-4-3 with 3 shutouts. 3 out of his 4 wins have been shutouts. But Alex Stalock 2-2-0 with an .898 save percentage. That is very concerning. So Cam Talbot is definitely who I want starting the game. So I'm going to turn auto-rotate goalie off for a little bit and just give Cam Talbot a run. We could always call up some prospects to try and mix things up here in the bottom 6. Yanni Pekka left a comment talking about how he would like to see a franchise series with bold moves towards the young guns instead of filling the lines with nothing to give guys. And I definitely resonate with that. Just unfortunate that the prospects that we do have are all in the low 70 overalls and they're not really ready for the jump yet. Just that, I'm not going to call up Luke Johnson, I don't think, to replace a guy like Josh Lievo. But we got to find where we're going wrong. Eriksson Ek has 5 goals and an assist. Fiala 2 and 3. But Kaprizov only 1 and 4 with a -5. The first line's doing great. The second line's struggling a little bit. 1 goal, 5. Yeah, only 1 goal, 1 assist for Bukestad. Maybe switch him up with Bonino. Let's try. Yeah, Bonino 2 goals, 3 assists. Yeah, let's do that. Bonino's going to come to the third line. Great defensive presence. Defense looks okay. Yeah, the defensive pairings are looking good. Yeah, it's just that. So we're going to put Talbot back in nets, turn goalie rotation off, Bonino on the third line, and go from there. Okay, let's see where that goes now. On pace to go see the Chicago Blackhawks. Anaheim Ducks. I'm not going to trade Lewis and a 7th for a 5th. Anaheim Ducks with Talbot between the pipes. We win 4-3 in overtime. Okay, I will take that. 4-3 overtime win. St. Louis Blues 3-2 win. Good. Washington Capitals 4-2 loss. Canucks, another Western Conference matchup here. 5-4 overtime loss. Sprained ankle. Head coach can replace him. Boldy's back, so we're going to go edit lines manually. That's where you can do it manual, no problem. Beck, hey, 4 goals, 2 assists for Colton Beck. Boldy's going to come back to the top line. There you go. And Buffalo Sabres, we beat them 3-2 in the shootout. A lot of games going past regulation, past the 60 minutes here. Both teams are 9-7-4 going up against the Chicago Blackhawks here. Also, we want to make note, I know we filled out our team with guys like Lievo and Frolik, but we still made those notes at the beginning about those guys that we wanted to look at who have great defensive stats. Maybe that's a deadline move that we look at. Roslovic is still unsigned. Scott Lawton is out here on Lautner's line, but now I don't care about Lautner's lines. I want to know about Popovich's lines, so I got to completely scout him again, I suppose. Johansson doesn't matter as much anymore. We'll go ahead and unpin him, but what's he doing this year? 16 points in 20 games. Nola Chari fits the second line. Adam Lowry fits the bottom 6. I like the bottom 6 for Adam Lowry. He could be a great fourth-line center. He has fantastic defensive stats. Maybe Adam Lowry's an idea. Cizikas fits the bottom 6 as well. Soderberg, we're not sure about. So we'll go ahead and get a complete scout on him. Nordstrom, we were thinking about him. He fits the first line. Forget it. Glenn Denning doesn't fit any of the lines. Brad Richardson fits the third line. And then Derek Brassard, still unsigned, is Derek Brassard. So if they come the deadline, there are definitely going to be players who are willing to take really cheap contracts and just get some NHL action. Chara, Bufflin, Hamonic, Kovalchuk, Brassard, they're all still out here. Even Anthony Duclair. Anthony Duclair would probably be great for us. We don't know if he fits the lines, though, unfortunately. We know nothing about him. But maybe if we're thinking about moving Marcus Johansson for a draft pick or something, Anthony Duclair could be a move for us. Not going to pull the trigger on that just yet, but we will. I'm going to throw Marcus Johansson on the trade block. Why not? 1 year left. He's not doing anything crazy for us. I want to give him a chance. Not super impressed at the moment with only, was it 1 goal? Oh, no, you know what? 9 points. Okay. I misjudged you, Marcus. But I will still keep you on the block just in case anything interesting comes our way. At United Center, divisional matchup, huge game where we both have the same record at the moment. This could be huge playoff implications down the road, and Nick Bonino starts it off with a bang. First shot of the game 11 seconds in. First period ends up 1-1 as Dylan Strome ties it up. Second period 2-1. Quinville gives the Hawks the lead. We're out shooting them 20-16, but we're down by 1 in the third. Dalia between the pipes for the Hawks. Come on, boys, we can beat him. Kaprizov, score a nice one for me. You lit it up in the KHL. Show me some of your magic now. Scoreless third, under 5 to go. Where are the sticks out there, boys? And oh, there he is, Mike Hoffman, my hero. Yes, with 53 seconds to go, fighting down low in the crease, ties this game up at 2, and at least we get an extra point at the very least. Headed into overtime now. Can we build on those heroics and make sure it wasn't just for 1 point but 2? Or will we see a shootout? It's shootout time, but the Hawks take it. Kaprizov scored, but so did DeBrincat and Keith. So we'll drop it in the shootout, but thank you, Mike Hoffman. He gets us a point. That's a really weird record, 9, 7, and 5. Early on in the season, we already have 5 overtime and shootout losses. So goalie rotation is off at the moment, like we said. I'm gonna give Talbot another little sample size, and we'll go into the month of December. Let's say up against this game against Edmonton is where we will stop. 3-1 loss against the Senders, then okay, a 5-4 win against the Jets. Gives us our 10th win of the season. Coyotes, we lose 4-2. Shaky stuff out here. No, I'm not gonna do that. Columbus Blue Jackets, we beat them 4-3. Really tight games out here. Leafs are 11-11-4. We beat them 5-3. Nice. Love to see it. Marcus Johansson pulled groin. Okay, so we're going to say head coach replace player and then back out. 7-1 loss against the Canucks. Man, oh man. Sam Bennett will fill in here at the moment, but I was just looking at the second line. -15, -11, -9. Eriksson hasn't scored in like 15 games. This is a really terrible time for the second line. Let's try Bonino. You know, Bonino's been playing well with the plus-minus, only a -1 only. So let's try putting him on the second line. I don't know. I'm really grasping at straws out here. We need like a second line center. Bukestad, 1 goal, 3 assists, -5. These guys are really killing me. Kaprizov, I thought he'd be lighting it up. Only 6 and 8. Hoffman with 30 points. Monahan with 30 points. Parise with 34 points. Man, this is dangerous out here. Ryan Suter, only 2 goals, 11 assists, -1. Vatanen, only 3 goals, 9 assists. Brodin, -3. Spurgeon, -6. I thought this would be a really good pair. Hunt, Susie. I don't know. Can I maybe I put Brodin on the third pair? Brad Hunt comes up. Now I'm really just looking for anything. Cam Talbot, 902 save percentage, 2.75 goals against average. Not terrible numbers. The poor guy is just really not getting much support. Man, we're going to have to stop before the trade deadline. I'm gonna have to ask you boys and girls for some help before we even get there. I'm really surprised about how the first line's killing it, but the rest of the team is just doing 0. Auto rotate goalies back on. Give Stalock another chance out there. Up against the Flames. Let's see how Sam Bennett does in the lineup. 4-0 loss. We're only scoring 2.86 goals per game, letting in 2.96. Power play is only at 18.7. I thought we'd be killing it on the power play. Penalty kill at 85.7. My goodness. Let's look at the power plays of the entire NHL. I mean, 18.7 is not the worst. Man, that's really disappointing. Now we'll go up against the Oilers with a different goalie, I think, is the goalie rotation. It should be Stalock in there. And we lose 4-2. Man, I think we have to stop, guys. I think we need to stop. 12-12 and 5. If we lose next game against the Canadiens, I'm going to stop it right there. Kaprizov, man. -17. Benino was a -3 in that game, I think, in his last 2 games. Boy, I don't know what to say. If we lose against the Canadiens, we're going to have to stop the episode right there. We'll take a look at all the trade blocks, and we'll see what moves have to be made. Canadiens are 12-4-3. Come on, we got to win against them. I love the Canadiens, but we got to win against them. 13-4-3, and we lose 1-0. We can't score goals. Okay, Johansson's back. We're gonna put him in the lineup, and then we're gonna call it. Bennett in the 3 games was a -1, by the way. So just put Johansson back in the lineup. Okay, time to assess this team and say, where do changes have to be made? You saw the power play, you saw the penalty kill. Now here are all of the team stats. Parise, Monahan, Hoffman, all at a point per game or more, killing it. Kaprizov, 15 points, -17. Suter, 13, -4. Vatanen, 12. It's not bad at all, the first unit, actually. I got to give them some more credit. Frolik down on the 4th line, scores 10 points in 8.5 minutes. How is he doing that? While Fiala, with 17.5 minutes, has less goals and the same amount of points. Eriksson Ek, -12 with 8 points. Spurgeon, a -10. This is really surprising. Bugstad, -7. Wow, these defensive forwards who I went out and got are not as defensive as I thought they would be. And between the pipes, Talbot 9, 10, and 5. How's Matt Dumba doing over on Calgary? Let's see what he's been doing. He has 10 points, -8. Okay, nothing crazy from him. In the entire NHL, Stamkos 38, Huberdeau, Reinhard, Wheeler, Eichel. Parise's up there. Great season for Parise. But yeah, I'm not going to spend too much time here. There's Eric Stahl, the player that we should have still had. He would have been great for our team. Bad deal, I think, for Marcus Johansson. In the goalie category, any goalies who are really killing it? Grubauer's doing well for an 84 overall. Dubnyk, our former goaltender, is doing well on San Jose. Thomas Greiss doing pretty well on the Red Wings. Crawford doing well on the Devils. Yeah, a lot of goalies that we could potentially target. Merzlikins, I don't know, maybe the Blue Jackets? They have Korpisalo and Merzlikins. Merzlikins is the one playing better at the moment, 84 overall. Maybe they want to trade a goalie. Let's look at all the trade blocks of the NHL, and then I'll leave it all up to you for anything else that we have to do. I know this is a super long episode, as I've said like 3 times, so I want to just end it off, and it seems like it's the hockey gods are telling us the same. All right, so here we go. Sorting by overall. Perreault is there. Jarmelson, Goligoski, Demers over on the Coyotes. Big contracts, but pretty good players. Got to give it to them. Yeah, not bad. Bruins, no one really. We're looking at just roster players. Eric Stahl's on the block. We just traded him away. He's doing, you know what? Yeah, he's playing very well. Maybe Eric Stahl is someone we look at. Says he fits forward line 2. There it is. That could be second line center right there. And penalty kill lines. It's, you know, the Bill Guerin made a mistake. I came in, I gave him Marcus Johansson a chance. I said, no, Eric Stahl, I want you back. I called the GM of Buffalo. He said, hey, what a coincidence. He's on the block. That could work, my friends. Let me know about that. Shillington's still there. Jordan Stahl, Jesper Fast. Jonathan Toews, too big of a contract, though. Bowen Byram, Connor Timmins. No one there. On the Blue Jackets, actually, looking at goalies. Do they want to trade? Korpisalo's on the block. But Merzlikins has less value. I don't know. Maybe the goalie is someone we can go after, but we'll check all goalies in a second. Robertson, Harley, Delandria, DeKaiser, Merrill, Nemeth, Ethan Bear, who's a free agent. That's interesting. He's still a restricted free agent. Evan Bouchard, Keith Yandel, Patrick Hornquist, Anton Strawman. Interesting. Doesn't fit the lines, though. Strawman, okay. Keep that in mind. Brett Connolly, Brian Boyle. PK Subban still on the block. He has only 10 points, though, and a +6 in 27 games. I don't know if I want to risk it for PK. You guys can still let me know. Barzil's still out there as a restricted free agent. Bailey, Nelson, Eberle, Lee, Pajot. The whole team's on the block. Anybody really fit the lineups? Probably Eberle could fit the lineup. Yeah, most of these guys fit our lines. Eberle's playing well. 28 points in 30 games. I don't know. Maybe we could get a guy like Jordan Eberle. 4 years left at 5.5, though. It's a big contract. Stone over on the Senators. Frost, Rubtsov, Zucker, however you want to say it. Rust, Dumoulin. Rust is pretty good. Fits forward line 3. Zucker, maybe forward line 2. Logan Couture's on the block. Vlasic, Kane, Marlowe. There's a lot of options. Couture. Kane has 25 points. Nick Hague and Roslovic still on the block. So is Cole Perfetti, but Roslovic still on the block out there. So there are definitely trade options for the forwards or the defense. Looking at all the goalies now, we're going to sort still by overall. If we're looking at all the teams in the NHL, we're just going to quickly go through them. Antti Raanta's on the block for the Coyotes. 1 year left on his deal, not having a fantastic season. Rask is there. Halak, Allmark maybe. Classic Allmark. David Riddick perhaps. Playing okay. 1 year left on his deal on the trade block. Reimer, Mrazek, Subban, D'Elia, Grubauer. Grubauer's playing great, and he does not have a lot of trade value. 1 more year on his deal as well. These guys all need new deals. That's the thing. Merzlikins, very interesting for Merzlikins. 2 more years on his deal. Those are his numbers. Those are Korpisalo's numbers. Bishop. Khudobin's on the block. A bit too old, though, I think, for Khudobin. 3. Oh, look at those numbers, though. But he hasn't played much. But still, good numbers from Khudobin. Grice, Bernier. Grice has a lot of value, so forget that. Koskinen, Smith, Montembeault, Quick, Peterson. Don't think that's going to happen. Price. How's Jake Allen looking? Not bad at all. We're looking for more of a starter kind of guy. Saros, Rene. Pekka Rine's out there. Not having a good season, though. Corey Crawford's having a good season, but again, he's a bit too old for my liking. I'd rather get somebody that we're going to have a bit longer term, because we don't really have anybody in the system aside from Kakinen. We could call up Kakinen to play either way and just trade Stalock maybe. That's another option. Sorokin's on the block, as we saw. Georgiev does not have a lot of value with that starter potential. Nilsson, Elliott, don't think so. DeSmith and Jerry, neither of them have a lot of value. But neither of them are playing super well either. Dubnik, Martin Jones. Crazy contract for Jones. Don't want to touch that. Yeah. Aaron Dell. Aaron Dell's playing decent, yeah. Not a lot of wins, but good numbers. Michael Hutchinson. We love Michael Hutchinson on the channel here. But again, he could be a backup, but we're thinking about starter. And Thatcher Demko, I don't know how he has so little value. I think that would be a crazy cheese to just trade like a 3rd round pick for Demko or something. So I don't think I'd want to do that. Marc-Andre Fleury is on the block, but 2 years left. We could go for a couple seasons of Marc-Andre Fleury, maybe. What do you guys think about that? Maybe a couple years of Marc-Andre Fleury. Has great numbers, too. Henrik Lundqvist, he's a bit too old at 38 to make anything happen. And then on Winnipeg, Eric Comrie. So, wow, what a marathon of an episode here, and we're only in December. At December, we currently have a record of 12, 13, and 5. So I think I've said enough. I'm going to stop talking. All the questions are posed out to you, my friends. Should we change the coaching? Should we change the lineup? Should we make trades for forwards, trades for defense, trades for goalie? Maybe we go to free agency. Do we go to free agency now? Do we wait until the trade deadline? Do we just call this season a wash and just try to get a good draft pick? There are many possibilities. Do we go after an RFA? There's some RFAs out here. Jack Roslovic is one, for example. Do we go after a UFA who's still here? There's Bufflin, Chara, Kovalchuk, Hamonic, Brassard, Duclair. These are some very interesting names. We could just trade players for picks and go dip our hands into free agency. So, wow, if you followed along through all this, I commend you. I hope that you enjoyed this first episode. A lot of changes to the Minnesota Wild and more to be made, but these are the growing pains, and we're going to get there. Biggest move, of course, bringing in Sean Monahan. But hey, if you enjoyed the episode, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for watching. If you're not already subscribed, make sure that you are to stay made aware of all of the franchise mode uploads, as well as the Bia Pros and the Twitch streams. All those links in the description, as well as the Discord server where we could discuss this some more. So again, thanks so much for watching. Looking forward to hearing your thoughts, and I will see you in the next one.